path dependency. Path dependency is how the set of decisions one now faces is limited by decisions made in the past. As you can see, if you take the great path, this great path, you will end up at Michigan State University. If you take this horrible path, you may end up somewhere far, far worse.
Let's take a look at a practical example. Imagine you're a high school freshman on their first day of high school. High school is a land of opportunity that each person must face decisions that will affect their future. The main decision in high school is the decision of whether to go out or whether to stay in and study. This decision affects your future opportunities and limits these opportunities accordingly. This can be seen a parallel with a state's decisions on economic policies, limiting their options in the future with further economic options. So, the two paths available are to go and socialize and drink with your friends, or to stay in and study for your AP exam. So, depending on which option you choose, will affect your future. Say you take the party option. You go over to your friend's house and you have fun and you drink and you socialize. This option, while fun at the time, limits your opportunities in the future. As you progress, you will get lower grades on your exams than had you stayed in and studied. This, in turn, will limit your options of going to a prestigious university like Harvard. This may put you into a situation where you're forced to go to a lower prestige university like LCC. While this is not a bad option, LCC, it is a consequence of your choices. In today's day and age, most of us are familiar with this type of keyboard layout, called the QWERTY keyboard layout. But why do we organize the keys in this way? Why not organize them alphabetically? It all goes back to typewriters, which jammed when a button was hit repeatedly. To solve this issue, we developed a keyboard layout that would move the buttons used most often away from each other to prevent this type of jamming. So why is this layout still used today? Well, this is where path dependency comes into play. We've created the processes to produce keyboards with this layout, which when we shifted to computers rather than typewriters, this layout stayed. Also, we are experienced in typing with this keyboard layout, so a lot of people would have to relearn how to type if we change the keyboard layout. There are alternate keyboard layouts out there, like this one seen here for gaming. Other layouts are designed for language differences as well as special circumstances to increase typing proficiency. While these layouts are out there, they are a small sector of the market due to the choices in the past. Since we went with the QWERTY keyboard, in order to move to a different keyboard, it would require a concentrated effort to make a big change. One interesting aspect in this case study of path dependency is the development of touchscreen keyboards. QWERTY keyboards are still the prominent figure in most touchscreens today. This is primarily due to the path dependency that we chose QWERTY keyboards and we are familiar with QWERTY keyboards, so that's what we stick with. Other models of keyboards are available on touchscreens, and they're starting to gain weight in the community as they prove to be more efficient and provide a better typing experience.
So now we'll move on to a real-world case study to further exemplify path dependence. We're going to talk about Russia. Russia has a very unique past which determined its possible choices economically and politically. It has a history of having very centralized power because of its history of czars and the government. Because of this, Russia fell behind politically, leading them to have fewer choices economically and within the government. And because of this, Russia did not respond very well to the forces of globalization. So, as you can see, because of Russia's history, its paths in the present changed, and it exemplifies the importance of path dependence because of its unique history and its choices.
Let's put Russia in comparison to China. Both countries took very, very similar paths in the beginning. They rejected Western ideals. But the key difference is that China divided political power among provinces instead of centralizing power in Moscow. This would allow it to a very different path from Russia. This path would allow China to respond to the effects of globalization with much greater efficiency and agency. Today, you see China as one of the dominant economic forces, one of the most dominant economic countries on the globe. Let's do another case study. This time, let's compare United States and Argentina and the path they took and how it's affecting them today. In the United States, the political power and economic wealth was distributed evenly throughout society, much more evenly throughout society than Argentina. The middle class held a lot of wealth and invested this in industry, while in Argentina, the wealth was concentrated in agricultural elites, while many peasants remained poor. After the Great Depression and after World War II, the United States industrialized at a rapid pace, while Argentina remained an agricultural society. The diffused political power led to a diffuse of wealth. This path led the United States to become one of the leading hegemons in the world today, while Argentina is still a developing country. Again, this demonstrates the paths you take will determine who you are in the future.